Okay, so look at the picture below. It's a picture of a water hyacinth. Right now, if the water hyacinth floats on water. We all know water hyacinth is a very common example of a floating plant. It floats because it has a swollen stem, which is over here, and the swollen stem here is actually filled with air. The plant purposely has a grows a stem that it fills up with air so that it can float. Right now, if the water hyacinth reproduces rapidly and covers the whole surface of the pond, how does it affect the population size of the submerged plants and the animals inside the pond? It's supposed to explain. First of all, let us revise. If This is a very common question, by the way. If the water hyacinth increase in population, right, what happens is that it will eventually cover the entire pond. And I'm gonna draw a line to show you a pond. If this can be representative, this can represent a pond. Then, if there are any plants that are growing here, there are any plants that are growing on this side, right, and on the underside, then when the water hyacinth grows and cover the entire surface of the pond, there will not be any light coming in, right? And when there's no light coming in, what will happen to the submerged plants? I'm just going to draw some submerged plants here. Imagine that there are submerged plants here, submerged plants here, submerged plants here. Alright. Now what happens if uh, the water hyacinth covers the entire surface? What you will get is total darkness, or not total darkness, sorry, but a very dark underwater environment. And when there's no light with the under the water, the submerged plants will not be able to photosynthesize, right? And therefore, we can say that the plants submerged in water will not get sunlight, right? And there may be a drop in its population. Okay, so will not get enough sunlight, okay, to photosynthesize, right? To photosynthesize, and this might result in a drop in the submerged plant population. Okay, so that's the answer. Now, what then will happen to the animals? So the animals, when the submerged plants die, the animals can be affected, especially those animals that eat the submerged plant. Right. So the animals might not get enough food, for example, for it to eat. Okay, the animals that eat the submerged plants will die. At the same time, the submerged plants cannot photosynthesize, and therefore, when the submerged plants cannot photosynthesize, it cannot release dissolve oxygen into the water. So the animals living in the water will not get enough oxygen for respiration. Right, will not get enough oxygen for respiration. And if the plants do not carry out photosynthesis, and this might also cause a drop in the animal population. Right. So these are the effects uh, of the water hyacinth having a population explosion. Now, how does the ability to float on water benefit the water hyacinth? Now, water hyacinth, they float on the water for a reason. All right, it is actually advantageous for itself, as you can see from this question. You can understand why that it is advantageous for the water hyacinth to float on water rather than be submerged. All right, and and the ability for it to float uh, on water is that it will not get blocked by any other plant. Right, so it allows the water hyacinth to get maximum as much sunlight or more sunlight as possible to carry out photosynthesis and make food. Right? So this is a very simple question. It is a very common question, one that you would really have to understand and learn how to answer. Those of you who are not really strong in your language and do not know how to construct, you know, concise and accurate sentences, what you might want to do is look at how I answer this and maybe memorize it a bit. You do not have to memorize word for word, but just understand the idea, and so that during the exams you would know how to word your answers, and so that you can get your marks from there. Okay, so please revise, rewind, and replay this video if you have to, again and again, so that whenever this question comes out, you would have no issues. It will not come out exactly like how I've shown it to you here, but at least you know how it works. Thank you.